But here's the deal. This statement does not become applicable as it should if we don't walk the contextual path to our main text. And what I mean is this, the point that God's giving you today, that we should tell him to be seated on his throne in every aspect of our life. It's not an applicable thing. It's not something that we will be able to do if we don't have the information, if we don't walk the contextual path. The contextual path is the truths and the facts of the matter that leads to our point. So let's walk them a little bit. We right now, the main text is 1 Corinthians chapter 15, right? In verse 57. But there are things that our brother Paul addressed from God to us that led us all the way to this particular directive or decree, if you will. The things our brother Paul addressed that led us to this point was first and foremost Thanksgiving, right? Thanksgiving in chapter 1. In chapter 1, and he addressed Thanksgiving, and he addressed the division of the leaders in the church. The division of the church. See, in other words, the churches were, some people in the church wanted to follow this leader of the church. Some people wanted to follow that leader in the church. You know, maybe Apollos or Paul or Timothy. And then they were being biased. It's like you go to church and you sit down in the church, and then when the pastor of the church that you like, you approved of, and you look at him as the one, if he's not preaching that day and his associate minister preaching that day, then you start looking to the left and the right. You thinking about what time, how you going to slide out the side door. See, did you hear the problem? You didn't arrive looking for the word of God. You arrived looking for the pastor. I know it hurt a little bit, but that is unfortunately the truth of the matter with many of us. We're not going into the building looking for the word of God, listening for the word of God. We're going in looking for the articulation of the word of God. We're looking for the presentation of the word of God. We're looking for the man who takes the word of God and tickle my ear. We're looking for how he can make me chuckle when he gives me the word of God. We're not looking for the word of God, and that's a problem. So our brother Paul addressed that about the division.